Welcome everyone to another CTC software webinar. My name is Sean Zervis. I am the Director of Development here at CTC Software, and we are continuing the Nexus CMS User Learning Series. And we're going to be talking today about how to work with and update content tags. Now, of course, as always, our webinars are recorded. Also, for those of you participating with us here live in this webinar, you were able to ask questions while I'm talking about today's topic, and I try to answer those while we're in the main presentation, but we also save a QA session for the end for those of you who participate with us live. So stick around for that if I don't answer your question right away. Without further ado, though, let's jump right on in and talk about today's topic. So here's the deal. Tags can be a really fantastic way of filtering content within the content management system in the Nexus suite. And the key here is that you actually can play a major part in the usefulness of those tags. Anybody in the company who is listed as a content contributor, you're able to actually update tagging directly on the content itself, and that just helps to really increase its usefulness. I mean, BIM managers and CAD managers, they of course are going to do some pre-tagging of content, and that's great. But you can actually interact with that as well, and this can make it very easy to find and filter for things, I should say filter and find things that you're looking for within the Nexus CMS. So here, I'm going to show you exactly how you can work with tags very effectively, manipulate those tags, add them and remove them from content, and just verify a lot of that so you can really improve your searching experience within the Nexus CMS. So we're going to go through 4 very specific things. First of all, we're going to talk about how tags work within filtering. In case you haven't used that before, we're going to recap that. We have talked about filtering before, but I want to make sure you have a really solid understanding of tags as it relates to filtering. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create a tag association with a piece of content. We're going to search for something that doesn't have any tags on it or doesn't have the tags we want on it, and we're going to associate some tags with that content. We're also going to talk about the reverse of that, disassociating tags from content. If something is not relevant or not accurate, it's good to remove that tag so you're not getting inaccurate results. And then finally, without running a search necessarily, there's other ways you can validate the tag association to content by looking at details. And we've talked about details before, but we're going to recap that today as well as we talk about this tag filtering. So first things first, let's talk about filtering controls in the first place within the Nexus CMS. So I'm going to go here into the CMS and we're going to do a simple search. I'm going to look for, let's see here, let's just use a quick save search, doors, CTC doors. Run a search here and you'll notice over on the right-hand side of my CMS, I'm going to make this window just a bit bigger here. I'm going to pull this a little smaller. I guess I can't get control on screen without squishing down too small here. We'll just put tag filtering there on the screen. To the right over here in the filters panel, my pre-saved search filtered for a library, and that can be good. It also filtered for a Revit category, and that can be good too. But it's not in this case using any tags. So let's use these tags to help further what we're filtering over here. If I go here into my tags and I take a look at what is available, there's actually a whole bunch of tags that relate to the doors themselves. So my current filter is looking at a library, my corporate library, specifically for Revit content in this case. If you're a civil user, the same concept would hold true for some of the civil content or AutoCAD content. Or Dynamo content. It doesn't matter. All content works the same. It's associated to a library. And so this is showing me content that is specifically filtered to the Revit content CTC Express Tools library that I've set up. Now, in addition to that, it's filtering for doors within that library. And it's right now forcing only Revit content because I'm focusing in this little case here on Revit-based searches. But again, in the AutoCAD area, you'd have these similar filters for AutoCAD content. So when I apply this, it's looking for everything that's in that library, that's doors, that's Revit content, and that's what it's coming back with. But I can further filter to things that are doors single. So if something has been tagged specifically as single doors, when I hit apply, it will return to me anything that is specifically a single door. Or I could say a swing door and hit apply here, and it might give me more items. You can also do some things with tags where you say it must contain all tags. So it must be tagged with doors swing and doors single if I check this box. So if I hit apply, I'm going to get actually basically the same thing I had for doors single, because they are all swing doors. Actually, this is not a swing door, and yet it's still showing up. And that's probably because it was accidentally tagged as a swing door. And we'll take and fix that in a little while here. Let's clear these search results out and try another search here. Let's look for something that is furniture. And if I check that box and hit apply and tell it to only give me back Revit content, then I'm going to get a whole bunch of stuff that relates to furniture, 102 items that relate to furniture. Now, here's the deal. There's a lot of content inside of here that is specific to healthcare, actually, right? This furniture here, this is healthcare furniture. This wouldn't be something that I would want to be seeing if I was doing residential work. I wouldn't want to see these types of beds, probably, right? Obviously, if I'm doing like senior care, that's multifamily senior care, well, in that case, I may want to see these, but I could tag it appropriately for that as well. And that way I could see furniture that relates perhaps to single family, and perhaps tag things that are more related to medical type things or healthcare type things as, you know, healthcare furniture. So how can I do that? How can I go through the ability here of associating additional tags with this content? And I do this because I happen to know right now there isn't anything associated. We'll talk about investigating that a little later on, but right now I know nothing is actually tagged on any of this content here today. So how do we associate tags? Well, when you have a search of a bunch of items that you've discovered and you're like, you know what, these things here, and perhaps a few other things, if I scroll down, let's grab a bunch of these hospital bed type components here. All of these, they're all supposed to be medical content. So if I right click on this, when you right click on content to which you can work with the tags, like if you are a contributor of the library, then you'll have this little manage tags flag that'll show up down here. And for this, within the manage tags, you can either assign tags or remove tags. And right now we're talking about associating tags. So we're going to be assigning tags to this content. And what this will do is it will pop up for you a list of all of the tags that relate or that are available for you to be assigning to something. There's a lot in here, but I have a whole bunch of tags here that are project type or practice technology or whatever you want to call it. I've grouped them and prefixed them by PT so that I can see different project types that my company works on. And then in this case, I can associate these types of tags. Well, here, this particular component very likely relates to healthcare. And so it doesn't relate to anything else really here. It only relates to healthcare. And so I can associate this to that single tag. Now, do note, if you had like practice technology, residential, senior care as a specialty, I might want some of these things to relate to senior care as well. Some of those facilities do have hospital-style beds. Maybe not to this extent, but you know, you can associate multiple tags to a single piece of content, or a tag to multiple pieces of content, or multiple tags to multiple pieces, whatever, right? So I'm just going to do this one tag here and associate it to all these components. And what it will do is run through each of them and typically tell me that I have the ability to assign tags. Now, in this case, for whatever reason, I don't have permission to this content, probably because it's in a different library. Yeah, it's probably not in my own corporate library. Let's go and search for my own stuff that I actually own. Here we go. Let's just take these two in this case. I should have rights to this, and I'll just verify that this works. Assign tags. Let's do practice technology, healthcare, select. Ah, that's fun. I got an issue in my account. I got to fix that a little later on. I'll take care of that a little later. I should actually have the rights to do that. But that's normally how you would do it. And then if you right-click a component, say I pick this component here, and I go and check its detail, what I should see are any of the tags that are associated to it. That'll actually be our last slide. In a moment here, I will double-check that with another component here that I can work with. I'm going to try this also, instead of on the furniture collection here, I'm going to go back to the doors collection and retry this on that content real quick here. So let's just say we've got, I should have a patient room door in here, I believe. Yeah, sliding ICS patient door here. So I'm going to go and do a manage tags on this guy real quick and just verify that I can set that to healthcare. Select this. All right, there's an issue. I've got an issue with my account. I got to fix that. My apologies. I'll double check that later. But yeah, that's how you would normally associate. Right click, manage tags, assign. That will run the assignment. All right. Now, the same thing holds true with disassociating tags. You can remove an association basically in the CMS by doing basically the exact same workflow here, manage tags, and you would do a remove. You do a remove tags, and you check discretely or specifically the things that you want to remove from that particular content. So if I was like, hey, this particular door that I right-clicked on, it doesn't apply to any other things, and so I can actually remove it from a lot of other specific things out there. I could say, hey, it doesn't relate to these particular clients, or it doesn't relate to mechanical, plumbing, or structural. If it was associated, it would then strip away that particular association. And the final thing that we're going to take a look at here is making sure that you understand what tags are actually associated to content as you discover it. So you can use that in the future for other things. So I could right click, for example, on maybe this bifold single door here and check its detail. In the detail panel here, you can actually see what the tags are. And at some point, somebody put a comment up here that they didn't like this particular family, and that's fine, whatever. In fact, it was me. I put that comment up there. But within that, the tags here, doors single and doors swing, are both associated to that particular component. So when I was filtering earlier for doors swing and doors single, this particular component showed up. Whether I was using contains all tags or not, this door would show up because it actually applies to both of those tags. And this is one of those areas where I probably should be removing the bifold or the swing door from this bifold door. It's actually not a swing door at all. So normally I would take this door, I would go into manage tags, remove, and I would take that doors bifold or doors swing rather and strip that away. Now I think this is going to error because my user account is having a couple of issues. Yeah, it doesn't like me right now. Normally that would strip it away and I would recall up the details for that door to verify that yes, indeed, that got stripped. In my case, it can't do it because my user account that I'm using, my little demo account here, is having a bit of an issue with my content. But normally, your user accounts should all be able to apply and remove tagging from the content. And then you can use that in your searches and use that with your saved searches, something we've talked about in previous webinars. And as tags get added to content, the results from those saved searches will automatically refresh based on the criteria. That's the key thing about those saved searches. So if you make a saved search that's looking for medical content or healthcare content, and then you update what is associated to medical content or healthcare content, then that will give you additional results with your saved search. So these tags can be really powerful, and it's a place where you, as a designer, you can actually affect the searchability of stuff by assigning tags and removing tags. So definitely go ahead and leverage that. That assignment can be real powerful. You can do client-based assignment. Now, you don't have the ability to create new tags, but you certainly can talk with your CAD and BIM managers to have them generate tags that are needed. They'll help make sure, hopefully, that the naming conventions are nice and consistent, but you can do things like client-specific tags. You could do project-type-specific tags like I have here. You could do things like subcategorization of content, potentially. You could do discipline-centric tags, so I could have like architecture tags separate from interiors, separate from survey, separate from whatever you need, structural, whatever. You can really separate and differentiate content beyond the properties that exist on them, and you have direct control over that. So that can be quite powerful. Well, for those of you who aren't going to hang out for the QA session, that's pretty much my content for today. So I'm going to say thank you, and I hope you found this information valuable. I hope you'll find this useful in your daily use of the Nexus CMS. And we do hope to see you in future CTC webinars as well.